Hi everyone, I'm Mike and this is the Sunday Art Show. Recently I've been enjoying watching Sky Art's Portrait Artist of the Year. It's the 2020 season that's currently showing in the UK, and what happens is each week 3 artists are selected to paint an individual celebrity, and then there are 3 celebrities within each episode, so 9 artists, a mix of amateurs and professionals in total. Now earlier in the summer, last year, I entered as a wildcard artist on Landscape Artist of the Year, and if you saw the video I published on that a few months ago, you'll know that I had a brilliant day down at Plymouth, got a little bit wet, but had a great time checking out how the episode was filmed, getting to do some outdoor landscape painting, meeting the presenters and famous artists. There's Tyshan Scherenberg, he's one of the main judges on the show. But back to the Portrait Artist of the Year. So at the end of each episode they say, well, if you want to enter yourself, then check out our website. So I checked out how to enter Portrait Artist of the Year 2021. So there's quite a big lead time. The deadline for entries this year was February, early February. And the shows, if you get in, then the shows won't actually air until the following January, I think. So almost a year's lead time. So I checked out the rules and regulations, some of which you can see on screen here. And essentially what you have to do is put in a minimum of 2 paintings or a maximum of 3. They all have to be portraits or at the very least feature the human figure. Your main entry is a self-portrait, and then, as I said, the 2 other paintings, or up to 2 other paintings, have to be figurative in some way. Years ago I used to do a lot of portrait drawing and painting, along with lots of life studies at the local college. But checking out the rules of the competition, I have to have put my entries, all of my portrait painting entries, within the last 5 years. And to be honest, I've been concentrating on animal paintings and landscape paintings in the last 5 years. So I didn't have too much ready to go. But I've always enjoyed painting portraits, capturing the human figure, the emotion and the personality of the person. It's the ultimate challenge, I think, for an artist. So here's, up on screen, some of the work that I've done over the years has been showing up. Now this is a painting of Rula Lenska, a British actress, and this is a painting of Amanda Barry, another British actress, and these are both from a different portrait painting TV show that I was lucky enough to be a part of for a couple of episodes. This was around about 15 years ago, and the show was called A Brush with Fame. So there would be a group of artists all painting a celebrity, and then you were judged by, got a couple of art critics, or 1 art critic and 2 prominent artists there. So Christian Furr in the middle. And I was lucky enough to come, I think, second in the regional final for that one. So that was a really good experience. So kind of the memory of doing that and the recent experience of doing the Sky Landscape show kind of convinced me, let's give this another crack and see if I get lucky. Yeah, really just in the hope of getting the experience of the day more than anything. However, things have been pretty busy for me recently, so I'm trying to think, okay, how am I going to generate these paintings in, within a few weeks? So I took inspiration from a recent lunch with my wife. You just saw the restaurant there, and I did a couple of thumbnail sketches of, maybe people having dinner. That's kind of a human moment. I set up a mirror and some strong lighting and did a rather unflattering quick watercolour studies of me, looking rather stern and with my tongue out, mouth agape. So pretty horrible
as you can see,
paintings.
I am in a car park. Not the most artistic of surroundings, not the most inspiring view, but just in the car park of a local supermarket here in the UK. Tesco's is one of our main supermarkets. So I thought, I've got half an hour to spare. Why not take the opportunity to do a little bit of art? So, like most cars, we've got the vanity mirror here. So what I'm trying to do is actually catch myself in the vanity mirror of my car. And I just happen to be parked here. The sun is shining in really very brightly from the side. And I thought this would be a good opportunity to do a quick self-portrait.
So as I just showed you, I did those 2 quick studies under very strong light, and while they weren't particularly flattering portraits, they were quite strong images. I felt strong lighting. So as I just described, because I had half an hour to spare in the middle of the day and I happened to be parked where the light was beaming in from the side, I took my little Inktense travel set and a water brush, which you can see I'm using now, and having used a biro to just do some quick outline work, I'm applying quick washes of colour to capture not only my face, or rather the portion of my face which is in view in the vanity mirror, but also a little bit of the view behind me, a little bit of the car behind me that I can see in the vanity mirror as well. So I just thought it was like a novel approach to a self-portrait, in that the vanity mirror forces you to select a section of your face. You know, you can't really see your whole head. So not something I'd done before, or if I have done it, it was a very long time ago at least. Top of that. And so the previous self-portraits, the quick studies that I showed you, they were watercolour with biro on top. And I kind of like working that way, I'm finding. You know, the combination of the biro with the washes of colour. It's not a drawing quite, it's not line and wash quite, and it's not a pure watercolour either. So it's sort of an entity of its own. I'm just putting in a few details of the border, kind of the fittings on the vanity mirror there. So there's that finished painting. Once again, I'm looking pretty stern there, but that's my favourite of the 3 studies I did. And then the other thing I thought was, well, I visit my elderly dad fairly frequently at the moment, so I did a couple of sketches of him, coming back to this idea of the people in the restaurant eating it, having a meal is a very human moment. So my dad often has a meal on his lap.
So you can see with just some really loose watercolour, just purely applied with the brush, I've kind of laid in different tones and colours on top of my loose pencil drawing. So next I'm going to go in with some biro and refine some of those lines. Alright, so I've gone round pretty much the entire painting, and as you can see I've added in some more precise lines using the ballpoint pen. Now what I've tried to do here is do the minimum amount of line work, but at the same time be fairly precise. And I've deliberately left those background marks there, that region here, where it's kind of the distant table and chairs, like really, really loose and barely defined, because I want to give a little bit of depth to the picture as a whole. And what I'm going to do now is work into this new drawing with more watercolour and then maybe some acrylic as well.
So there's the finished portrait of my dad, and I'm quite happy with the way this one turned out. I like the sense of depth, I like the mixed media. The likeness, I've perhaps made him look a little bit stern, but not too bad. Now for my final entry for the portraits, I actually did a double portrait painting. The one on the left is just loose watercolour, the one on the right is slightly less loose watercolour, and I decided to call that one beginning of the week, end of the week, because I was looking a little bit more youthful in the left one, and it's sort of softer washes, and I was looking sterner and a little more stressed in the right hand one. And again, they're not the most flattering self-portraits, but I felt I captured a little bit of emotion there, so that's why I chose those 2. So now I'm ready to upload my entries. A couple of weeks go by and I get an email from the production company, and on this occasion we regret to inform you that your application has not been successful. So c'est la vie, you know, that's the way it goes with big national art competitions. You can't win them all, but I'm glad I entered because it really kind of kick-started me into doing portraiture and some more figure study work again. So I hope to continue that over the coming months. And a nice little touch, they actually sent me a £5 off gift voucher from Cass Art. Cass Art are a leading art supplier in the UK, and they actually sponsor the show. So I thought that was a nice little gesture. So I'll be back as usual next week for the next episode of the Sunday Art Show. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching.